Hi everyone, welcome to All Four Queens 555. So this morning, a bit of a weird session last night. I was dreaming, there's lots of things going on, and I've got so much to tell you in terms of the devil's den, in terms of all the things that are going on. And actually the devil is an illusionist, and obviously all these people have been brought into this, whatever it is, but obviously it was a temptation by the devil. But I'll do that on a separate one. Welcome to the channel. It's very much about spiritual warfare. Hopefully we can get into healing and awakening, but I'm in the eye of the storm, and I just want people to see the reality of things that go on. Obviously I'm very highly intuitive, psychic, medium, and obviously I've been suppressing those gifts because people have been trying to play mad scientist in my crown chakra. But what I wanted to sort of say to people is obviously the power of discernment and obviously using your intuition. Now, one of the things that I noticed a lot on this journey was when I was watching YouTube, I kept getting a lot of adverts pop in when the reader or whatever I was watching was saying something that was quite poignant. And I recorded some of them because I just, obviously at the beginning of the journey you don't really know where you're going and what's happening and you just go with the flow as you do. You know, it's part of the process, you know, for those that have been on the journey. And obviously, as you can see, I'm still getting attacked. Someone still wants to make my exterior look like whatever, you know. Me personally, once you awaken, your meat suit is just your meat suit. What your heart and your soul carries is far more important, because we're all going to get old and we're all going to go grey and we're all going to go wrinkly at some point. So all this really is just the insecurity of the person that feels the need to send it. That's how I see it. But that's the difference between being growth and still being karmic. So that's how I see it. I mean, obviously, if someone has a problem and sees me with a load of, you know, witchy spots on my face and judges me by that, well, then that's down to them, innit? You know what I mean? It is what it is. You can't change how someone sees the world, and if they see this as be all and end all, well, then they're missing out on some of the best parts of people, aren't they? So, excuse me. Now, they are going to try and do that because they're going to keep trying to stop me from talking, but I'm not going to stop talking. So I haven't got a glass of water with me, but if I do cough, please apologise for it, because they're going to try and stop me. But anyway, one of the adverts that kept popping up all the time throughout my YouTube watching it was this advert, and it was quite interesting because now I've started to go down the journey, I've started to understand it. But the level of, if you're into energy, you'll understand the level of hate, and I say that that's the only way I can describe it. The level of just like jealousy and hate and whatever else is there, I can feel it through this, and I want people to see what I've actually been dealing with. Now, I don't know where this links to, because I've got an understanding of a little bit of stuff about myself, but I don't know where this links to. But the level of discontent just says it all, really, and I want you to listen to it. Let me just turn it up and get it as high as I can. And I've got the frequency on in the background, so just bear with, but I want you to actually So I said that because that is pretty much the energy that I feel. Somebody is so intent, and that kept popping up over and over again when the reader was saying something specific around, you know, someone coming for you and all sorts of stuff. Now, when I was in my house, I did have two vehicles, a blue transit van that kept circling around the crescent, because I lived in a crescent, and I had a white transit van. The blue transit van had a load of white dudes in it, and the white transit van had some, I would say, Hispanic type people. There was a woman and a man in there, and obviously I saw it. I realised that this isn't normal, and I went back in the house. And obviously she talks about being kidnapped. So, and then obviously I had some crazy stuff which I reported to the police about, you know, that, and also someone buying a concert ticket for me for one person, which obviously I would never go to a concert on my own. Some people do, but it's just not something I've ever done. So why someone did that, I don't know. But it just seems very odd that things are starting to play out now. And some of the things that I watched yesterday, because some things come into your feed, and you know, obviously there's a reason why it comes in. And obviously I've said before that all this mental health scenario apparently has been going on behind my back for years, even though I've been hidden and working in the background. All this stuff has been going on, and obviously I did see an ex once take photographs of me in a compromising position, and I asked for them to be deleted because I didn't give permission. But I understand that people have been recording stuff as well. And why do I say that? Is because I believe that all this stuff has been put out there in other countries about me, no consent from me, to sort of create a narrative around, hence what that song is about me being gone. So, and all these nefarious things that have been put out and being injected with things, and having cameras in my house, and you know, having absolutely no privacy whatsoever. And obviously I'm watched in the hotel as well. So it's sort of starting to build a picture, isn't it, as to what really has been said about me, and what the real reality is, and what the real intent is against me. And obviously I can only assume it's for money. You know, that's what it is. And obviously people are trying to attach to me, to stay attached to my energy, when I was moved away because they didn't want me. They thought that they didn't need me. And in my prayer this morning I said that the page, whoever the masculine or the man is, obviously chose somebody else. But me personally, they were a page. Doesn't matter how old they are, they're a page because of the behaviour. You know, you don't attack another person, and you certainly don't siphon their energy, and you certainly don't siphon their abundance, and then create a narrative with all that, you know, putting me on dark webs and whatever else, to try and tell a masculine who I actually am based on what they want the masculine to believe. And also, you know, it's coming from a home and pushing me at the bottom of the wheel so that they can be at the top of the wheel and steal my blessings and steal my energy and steal my abundance, but not actually doing it because they're skilled at doing it, just paying people to do it in a network and practitioners, hence all this. So, you know, that's not magic, is it? That's just somebody using a network and to control a narrative about somebody, and just basically creating a false persona of somebody so somebody else can have something. Now, the part to that is, and I talked about the broken contract, it's not about twin flames, soulmates. I personally don't think it's necessarily about who you end up with. It's more about a lesson, because we all have karma to clear, and if we're past lives as well, we've probably got some past life karma to clear, and usually that is putting right what was done wrong in the past. And looking at the behaviour now, the same scenario has happened. The man picked the karmic, and the karmic is trying to recreate the past by attacking me and trying to remove me. Now, what I will say to that, and something I watched yesterday, because that person, i.e. that karmic, decided that they were going to take me out, or whatever they were going to do, by doing what they did and not understanding what my energy was to the whole network and my good karma and my spiritual protection, by doing what they did and coming from a house and, you know, paying people to attack me and gang stalk me and take photos and create a false narrative about who I really am, so that the masculine thought I was something I wasn't. By doing all that, and then doing the worst thing by coming from my home and my stability, and then blocking me out from pretty much working and living in the matrix, it basically put a fire, it lit a match under the whole international organisation, and in doing that they were all benefiting from my good karma and my spiritual protection. And when I was moved away for a reason, so that the world could see who was carrying the good karma and who was carrying the spiritual protection and who is actually the Ten of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, me, my energy, my abundance, it basically became a house of cards. So now what's happened is they're trying to get back into my energy and attack me from within to try and create the narrative of what they said about me having mental health and all this stuff that they've put out in the world about me being some sort of corn star. I get the impression from my ancestors, we were laughing about it, but I get the impression that they think that I'm some sort of corn star out there that has been, you know, free for all basically, and I haven't. None of the photographs that have been taken from me, if people have done that, and none of the personal stuff that has been recorded of me was ever any consent. It was personal. It was based on trust. So one of the things for that is you've got to remember that, you know, we trust people in our lives in all walks of life, from banks to credit cards to legal services to police to government, to everybody in our lives that we have to interact with. We put trust in them, and obviously they haven't shown that they are trustworthy. And especially when people carry phones now, you know, when you get in a relationship with someone, you expect it to be based on trust. So, but what I also will say is, what I've also learned is the fact that all my relationships, including everything that I've ever known in my life, they were all handlers, and they were all paid to be in my life. So hey ho, it is what it is, isn't it? But hey ho, it is what it is. So, and I've just recognised that I've got my headphones on, so let me just play it again for you, because obviously I was listening to it and you wasn't. I was too engrossed in jumping in with what they've got to say that I forgot to take my headphones off. But I won't do it again. I'll just do it this way. But yeah, I want you to hear it. I just want people to see this advert that pops up on a subliminal. This is for the diary again. When you're gone, I just think of you dying. What? You could bleed out the street or get stuck in a mine. You could get kidnapped by bandits. Fine. There are a million ways inside my brain in which you could die at any given time. Or you could go on a road trip, even though I said no road trip. Life 360. No more freaking out. No more creepy songs. Family proof your family with Life 360. So why? And honestly, every night they come and they are tinkering in my crown chakra every night, and I have to put so much frequency on, and I've got other things there as well. So, you know, bear with me, because this is the, you know, one person having so much energy being just being bombarded with is a lot. It's a lot of energy. And it's a lot to transmute. And when I go outside, they put all the dogs around, so the trees are pretty much, there's no goodness in the trees at all for me to even go around. So obviously I have to do it a different way, so bear with. But yeah, I just realised I've got the headset on, and I don't like to do it again, because obviously as I'm talking, they're coming through, and it's just like I've got to get it out. So yeah, so basically I've been put out there as some sort of corn star, I think, who's got mental illness and all the things that they've created to try and create a narrative. Also, they could steal from me basically and walk in my energy to pretend to be me. And they pulled that energy back now. So the House of Cards crumbled. And the other thing that I want to say is, so the House of Cards has crumbled. So basically they lit a match, and every organisation that was reliant on my energy is now facing its karma. So those that thought they were going to have the same cycle again, because somebody came along with jealousy and whatever else they were operating out of because of me, but not looking at what the bigger picture was, everyone now is facing their karma, and I would say it's a lot of karma. So I would say that whoever keeps deleting my messages and keeps trying to create me not getting emails, posts, text messages, voicemail messages. If anyone wants to come and have a conversation with me, then you're going to have to come in person, because you know, I'm not getting anything. So I'm going to love you on that note. It's about me, but I'm sure that it's happened to a lot of people out there in the world. And one thing that I always say is it doesn't happen to you, it's happening for you. And I do believe in God, that there is a reason why we go through the things that we do. And God is fully in control of everything that they do. The only challenge this time around, what I do believe, and I actually had the conversation this morning, is I don't believe that they actually had a discussion with the devil. I don't believe they actually contracted him. I think they just went off on their own and did their own thing. And in doing so, they've got the devil on the backside. They've got all the people that they promised the world to, and they've got, you know, divine retribution, because the devil drops you in front of God for justice and judgment, doesn't he? You know, he's your temptation and your test and your illusionist, and he wants you to build up as much karma as you can, because that's his job. But yeah. Doesn't protect you. So anyway, someone's messing with my phone. It's gone all dark, so I don't know. So yeah, they've just knocked it off now because they've seen I'm there. But anyway, I'm gonna love yous and leave yous, and I'll catch you on the next one.